Last weekend I uploaded a video titled "The Endgame Does Not Belong in DayZ." And I was really surprised at the reaction. It had a great reaction, especially on Reddit. I had a lot of good responses. Most of them were pretty spot on and understood what I was talking about, understood what I meant. I also got a lot of responses which were a bit confused and misunderstood what I was saying. A couple of things. First of all, I've got nothing against base building at all, as long as it's not indestructible, which destroys any semblance of permadeath. This is one of the key features of DayZ, in my opinion. If there's no permadeath, it's not really the same game. It's not. I almost wouldn't call it DayZ. In fact, I wouldn't call it DayZ. I'm not saying there shouldn't be more varied gear or more content in general. I don't, though, support having AI characters running around a map in the game, apart from zombies. If they're not, human characters controlled by humans, or characters controlled by humans, it's a really clunky, awkward, completely different experience. It doesn't feel the same when you get shot by them, or shoot them, or get into a fight, or trade with them, or anything like that. It doesn't feel anything like it. And I don't think they should be in the game. I don't think scripted missions should be in the game either, at all. Or safe zones, anything like that. Now, moving on. In this video I'm going to define exactly what endgame means, what survival means, and how important scarcity is to DayZ. Most people seem to define the endgame as being when they're fully geared. That generally means they've got a ghillie suit and a DMR. Maybe they drive a little blue van into the forest and seem to think they've completed the game somehow and that there's nothing left to do. I think it's a really narrow definition, but probably the most common one. Where the term endgame comes from is chess. In chess, of course, the overall objective is to checkmate your opponent's king. The game is often divided into three different phases: the opening, the middle game, and the end game. The end game is usually defined as when most of the pieces have been captured and there are just a few left on the board. The conditions of the game change a bit, and the players have to use different strategies than they did in the other phases. For example, the king becomes a more aggressive piece when there are less pieces on the board. So the end game is this state where the game has not been completed, but it's mostly been played out. So it's kind of a similar concept as in chess. Kind of. The thing with DayZ is that there is no objective. There is no checkmate. Nothing that results in the completion of the game. There's no way to complete it. You can't beat it. You can't win. All you can do is try to get up and keep living. Keep your characters alive, surviving. You avoid death for as long as possible, by any means. And no method is encouraged by the designers. No specific way to stay alive is encouraged. Actually, in the standalone, there will be a suicide option. So even killing yourself is not discouraged. They will facilitate your own death, which is interesting and controversial. I think it will be. This is one of the reasons it's been called the anti-game, because it just doesn't bother with many gaming conventions which were beforehand considered essential. I think maybe anti-game isn't the best way to describe it. Maybe just unconventional. I think a lot more games will have this kind of gameplay in the future, but no one knew that this would be enjoyable. No one knew how that a stressing, difficult game with an extremely steep learning curve and nothing to do, no one knew that would work or be so enjoyable and intense. there's no real objective in DayZ. So we create our own objectives. And what this means is that the end game is something you've defined for yourself. It's something you've imposed on yourself. If you've created your own objective to gear up and then stop playing, and now you have some kind of idea that you're in an end game, the game's over, you did that to yourself. You've chosen to do that. That is not really part of the game, and I don't think anything like that should be encouraged. Nothing should be explicitly defined by the designers. We only ever reach the end game of our own objectives in DayZ. That's why I referred to it in the other video as a paradigm and a mindset, not something that is hard-coded in. It's something just that the players choose to do. It's that kind of thinking which leads to mods which are based around loot hoarding, rather than what originally inspired the game. All the items you're collecting, all those guns and ghillie suits and so on, they all, just about all of them, have a use. So go out and use them. See what you can do with them. Start dying and losing stuff. Go out, have fun with it. If you're scared of going out and putting yourself out there and losing it, why are you collecting it in the first place? Why are you playing the game? It just doesn't make sense to me. It's just seems like a shitty way, not a very enjoyable way to play the game. Understand how if you're into leveling and RPGs and games like World of Warcraft and so on, that you might be into that, but this isn't that kind of game. Like I've said that before, but I want to reiterate it. If all you're doing is focusing on loot, I think you're hardly playing the game at all. You're hardly experiencing what it's about. I know that's probably going to be misinterpreted. I'm not saying that you shouldn't enjoy looting, enjoy the items you have fun using them, get attached to particular items, gear, enjoy a certain gun. I definitely do. I have my preferred guns, clothing and so on. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when the focus of the game becomes not on doing things and experiencing things, but on bean counting, that's not what this game is about. If you're still confused, let me know. Maybe I'll try to explain again later. Now, one of the biggest problems, I think, with the game, with DayZ, real problems, is the lack of scarcity. Once you figure out how to get some food and drink, it's not really much of a problem. And with the newer mods and server modifications, map modifications, everything is plentiful. I'm going to read you the first 2 paragraphs of an article by Wired magazine, which was this article is about Dean Hall, who created DayZ. Dean Hall was close to death in the jungles of Brunei. It was December 2010 and the officer cadet in the New Zealand Army was alone on a survival training mission. Given only 2 days worth of food for 20 days, he supplemented his diet with raw fish and ferns. He slept on a bed of sticks, and by the end of the mission he'd lost 44 pounds from his already lean frame. There were other trainees out there, and he started to plot raids on their food supplies. He thought of himself as an honourable person, but he was too hungry for honour. As he approached one man's camp, the guy spotted him and tossed him some rancid ramen. Hall boiled the noodles and wolfed them down. That night, as water poured around his bed and ramen roiled his stomach, he imagined himself inside his favourite video game, a military simulation for PCs called Arma 2. He had been playing it since its release in 2009 and often spent 3 to 4 hours a day on the game. Now, lying on the jungle floor, his feverish imagination turned Arma 2 into something different. He visualised a new kind of game, one in which there were no missions, no objectives, and no ability to simply respawn when killed. You had one life, and if you lost it, you lost everything. Third paragraph. Physically, Hall was a mess when he emerged from the jungle. He underwent emergency surgery for an intestinal blockage. A bit further down, there's a quote saying, Hall wanted to reproduce what he had experienced in the jungle. Agony, frustration, and fear. So that's all I'm going to read from the article. I'm going to pause ranting for a minute so we can watch this. My first kill with this character with the CZ. Yeah, way too far to the right.
Morning. صبح خير أخا.
Here I'm just hoping he's going to chill out a bit and doesn't zigzag so much. He obviously thinks I'm firing from the castle. Gotta wear headphones, man. Alright, now. Back to bullshitting. That story in Wired magazine describes the exact inspiration for DayZ. That is where it started. Food should be extremely scarce. It's a survival situation. Water should be difficult to come by. Fresh water that you can drink should be difficult to come by. The support systems of civilization are broken down. And things that we rely on day to day are now scarce, or they're non-existent. So we have to improvise for these things, make them for ourselves, or fight for them. And we might have to fight to survive, fight other people who want these resources as well. You have to use your skills and creativity and problem solving, and maybe help other people. What choices do you make? It's all these moral questions come up, philosophical questions. It's not like what it's broken down to now is get a DMR out of one of the 20 barracks along the coast and camp some fresh spawns. Maybe collect up as much loot as you can and stick it in your safe, which never disappears no matter how much you die. That's why I'm saying it's a completely different game now. This is what we're playing is a different game. I still play it. I still jump on these servers because they're the only ones out there. I don't really have any choice. And it's still more fun than not playing. So if food was more scarce and difficult to come by, if people were actually starving more often, which is what should be happening, they'd be forced to make choices like you can't go out in the forest with your ghillie suit and so on and sit there. You've got to go out and procure food. You need to go out and get supplies. You have consumables which will over time, be used up, and you've got to go out there and fight for your life. And other people are doing that at the same time, and you're going to die a lot. Okay, that's the game. That's it. Deal with it. It's difficult. That's what I love about it. It makes you suffer. It makes you stressed. It's a stressful situation. That's what it's like. That's what reality is. There's no, I've got a few items now, I guess that's it. There's nothing to do. We can only reach that point because of the state the game is in at the moment and what people have been doing to it. How people have been modifying it. This original concept. So, what I've decided to do, what you're watching this video in the background, what you see here is I'm playing on an Epoch server, but I've given myself limitations. I've decided to only carry a CZ as my sniper rifle. and basic supplies if when I find them. I'm not going to have a safe. I'm not going to have a base. I'm not going to do any trading. I'm not even going to play with other players. I won't have any camo. No special items. And I'm just going to see what happens. See how I feel about the character. If I get a bit more nervous, a bit more scared, more frustrated. Like I was saying before, I will go on other servers and just fuck around, just deathmatch for fun sometimes. If you're on a server with me, you'll see my name popping up every 5 minutes. Vigilante killed so-and-so, Vigilante died, Vigilante killed so-and-so, Vigilante died. But in this video, and possibly a series, I'll continue doing it if you guys like it and add more detail. Yeah, I'm just going to lone wolf it and see how much damage I can do to other people. I'm not going to... My goal isn't really to make friends or anything on this server. Everyone's geared up, no one gives a shit. Just going to kill as many people as possible while I have a massive disadvantage. And yeah, see how I go. And I'll also be pushing towards more dangerous situations and then seeing if I come out. Not even necessarily killing people, but sticking my nose in places where it shouldn't be and trying to survive. If I break my legs, that's it. I've got to crawl somewhere and get some morphine. I'm not going to respawn, kill myself. So I'm skimming through a couple of hours of gameplay where there are loads of, there's loads of vehicles driving all over the server, armoured vehicles that I can't touch, groups of people that I have no chance with. There were a few occasions where I could have shot someone if I had any CZ ammo left, but I didn't. When I found some CZ ammo in this deer stand, I decided to drop the machine gun. I'd been holding it for close quarter situations where I got surprised. Then I thought, fuck it, just go CZ. This is one of my favourite little camping spots around this castle. I've been hearing helicopters, gunshots, all sorts of things. Lots of zombies around. In the past, I've come to this position before and fired shots. To figure out the range. That closest tower should be about, I think it's about 650. The further one's about 750 roughly. I actually used a CZ, just CZ ammo, and watched the dust kick up, and I've memorized it. So it seems like there's a group in there, all working together, killing zombies, looting. Trying to save up money for a vehicle of some sort, I guess. One of them came in on that little chopper to the right. Almost seems like they've each got a personal chopper. So I spot them about... So they're just over 700. Maybe 720, something like that. I figure it out after the first shot, which you'll see in slow motion. First shot missed, second one hit the chest. So this is zoomed in and the contrast is up, the brightness is down. Slightly to the right and a bit low. I had no idea until I watched this video that it actually hit him in the chest. I thought it was a headshot. So 725 meters with the CZ. No rangefinders. And for that, of course, I get accused of hacking. Someone there saying, "Hey, hacks aren't allowed." I didn't read that at first. Pretty sure that's an NPC, so I didn't worry about him. AI. It seems like sometimes I also, when I watch things in slow motion, the crosshair moves slightly to the right, so I think I might need to adjust and might need to watch out for that. You got to be pixel perfect when you're getting out at this range. So his mate decides to come up and start looting the body. Again, I'll zoom in, brightness, contrast. So there you go. These guys were especially interested in seeing the video. Seemed like the whole server thought I was hacking. Someone stuck their head around this little corner here. Just as I was about to fire, they popped their head away. I lined him right up. That would have been a third headshot. I'm almost lucky that I didn't. I wonder if I would have been instantly banned or something if I'd got that third kill at this range. See everyone saying, how, holy shit. Some people don't seem to realise that CZs can be pretty accurate at that range. I guess if you've been playing in the last few months, if you started playing about 6 months ago, I'm not surprised. You've probably never really used the CZ that much because so many other guns are available, so you assume that it's a worthless weapon. So I don't blame these guys for thinking I was hacking. This doesn't really happen very often, especially now. Yeah, and that's right, I only had one clip. I had 5 rounds. Could have had 3 kills with 4 bullets, but only got 2 kills. I told him I was going to leave them alone, but towards the end I turn around and take another couple of shots that miss, which you'll see. That guy got in the chest. Perhaps he only didn't have much blood left. I don't know why he died if I shot him in the chest. Kind of strange, but I'll just have to assume he didn't have much blood. Either that or the... I don't know, it was a glitch and I did actually shoot him in the head, but it just appeared like it was in the chest. So here I hear the chopper starting to take off, so I've got another sitting duck target. Though I've moved slightly further away, so that it might be a little bit off there. So I could have had 4 headshots off 5 rounds, which I've done twice before. So close. How close is that to being a headshot? My god. I'm watching it for the first time now. Unbelievable. Second one should have been spot on, but he jumped out of the chopper just in time. Time to leave. I'd already stayed too long, I think. Could have left even earlier. Alright, so from this point on, while I'm recording this, I've been drinking again. I did this in another video. I started drinking alcohol and making bad decisions towards the end. I'd noticed a guy down there. Just decided to waste all my ammo shooting a zombie, which didn't even die. What the fuck? So I had enough wits about me to kill this chap. And instead of being careful, because I knew there was someone in the tower up there, I knew there were people around, running around, I knew there was a sniper up there, yet I still shoot someone, stand out in the open still, and then run in a straight line towards the body, directly towards the sniper. Just crazy. If I do this this kind of video again, this CZ adventure stuff, I'm definitely not going to drink while I do it. I don't want to make silly decisions like this. So that's a 50 cal. Doesn't matter where he hit me, I'm dead. And here's just a few more seconds after I spawned, and yeah, they like to play Walking Dead music at this, when you spawn on the server. Anyway, I spotted I spawned it. They put you out in the middle of nowhere, like the center of the map, rather than always on the coast. And there just happened to be someone in a ghillie suit running past me. This is immediately when I spawned. Ghillie suit running past me. Nothing to lose, so I chase him down. That's what this encourages. I've got nothing to lose. Bad luck for him. I've even seen safes right next to spawn points, so I think people are putting safes in so that if they get spawned in the center of the map, they can just walk 20 meters to their safe and gear up immediately. So he hears the vehicle, ducks for cover, and he's only watching over that crest there. Obviously hasn't noticed me at all. Now he's probably heard footsteps. Bad luck. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you want me to talk about. Have a good one.